On this episode of I'm Not a Lawyer, but the Debrief.
Mexico has charged Imani Green / Dejanay Jackson with femicide, with murder, basically, and put in a request for the U.S. to extradite Imani Green back to Mexico so she can have a trial and they can do what they do. The U.S. has opted not to extradite her. They've also opted not to charge her in the U.S. They did an investigation and they said, there's not enough here. We're not going to charge her. And so the Cabo Six, which is the group of people, that's what they're called, have been back in the U.S. minding their business, living their life.
Now, if you're not ready, then go ahead and tell me you're not ready.
I object to you getting records. You've been intrusive into people's personal lives.
I'm not a lawyer, but...
The Debrief.
Hello and welcome to another episode of I'm Not a Lawyer, but
The Debrief.
I am Melanie, aka I'm Not a Lawyer, but, and I'm joined by my co-host.
Gooseby. How y'all doing?
We are not lawyers or legal experts, but we have a podcast called I'm Not a Lawyer, but The Debrief. So we talk about legal things, and hopefully you guys enjoy the commentary. Sometimes we have legal experts come on and give their takes, which is always a good time. But today's episode, it's just us. So tap in. Before we get into it, I want to say that you can go to I'mNotALawyerBut.com and purchase some merch if you'd like. There's a couple items on there. They are on sale right now. They've been on sale for a couple weeks because they are clearing out. And since I've been saying it, people have been buying. Imagine that. You tell people what you got and people buy it. So I also have a Patreon. So you can join that and get access to documents. And sometimes we have lives. Sometimes we just have a good time in chats and comments. So you can join that as well. That's the Patreon. It's patreon.com/I'm Not a Lawyer, but.
I'm not going to ask. I'm telling y'all to go by and join the Patreon.
With that said, there are a couple topics that we are going to cover today because a few things have happened over the last week. But I'm going to start with a case I have not been covering, have not been talking about. We watched opening statements on the Patreon when openings happened, but I haven't been keeping up with it. But today, I started watching again, and that's a case out of Savannah, Georgia, in which Douglas Weinstein, if you remember YSL, Doug Weinstein was the attorney for Yak Gotti. He is the only attorney to get a full acquittal on that case. And so he has a case going on right now out of Savannah, Georgia. And he is representing a man who actually was a JAG. Remember, we just had the military. We had Coretta on here and the former chief prosecutor. And so this man, Nicholas Casotis, was a JAG in the U.S. Navy. And so he was a lawyer. And he is currently on trial for killing, allegedly, dismembering his second wife. The case is very confusing. The basics I have is that he got a divorce from his first wife, and he was ordered to pay the first wife $1.5 million. So him and his second wife went on the run, it seems like, for a period of time. However, what Nicholas says is that this man named Jim McIntyre showed up at his house and said he was an FBI agent because they had also, like, their tires had been flattened and they had been getting some weird, violent things happening. So he gets hooked up with this FBI agent and basically does whatever the agent says. And so it sounds like he's trying to say Jim McIntyre maybe killed his second wife. It's very confusing. I'm very confused. But what I will say is that, and actually while I'm talking about it, if you're watching.
Hold on, his second wife.
Yeah, the one he didn't owe her money. He owed the first wife money. So I don't really understand why.
I was like, hold on, we got it backwards.
She was killed. This is the wife, Mindy, who was dismembered. So Yeah, after the second wife died, he got married to a third wife. And I think she testified. I think both of the wives that are alive testified. I don't really know. I'm very confused. The point that I am bringing this up is because today, Nicholas Casotis got on the stand and testified in his own defense. And I want to play the clip really quick of when Doug had to say this out loud, because everything in Doug's face looks like this idiot. In my brain, you know how doctors always say doctors are the worst patients? I would imagine lawyers are the worst clients for other lawyers, because you just think you are so damn smart.
Oh, yeah.
And you are an idiot. So anyway, I'm going to play this clip so you guys can laugh with me of when Doug had to say that this man was testifying, because what a time.
All right, before we bring the jury back in, Mr. Weinstein, has your client made a decision as to whether or not he will testify this morning?
He has made a decision, Your Honor. My client wishes to testify.
All right. Do you mind if I make an inquiry of him?
I would appreciate you doing that, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. Sir, I've just been informed by your counsel that you intend to testify today. I do need to advise you that under the Fifth Amendment to the U.S. Constitution and also the Georgia Constitution, that you have a right against self-incrimination. That is, you have a right to remain silent. Do you understand that right?
Yes, sir.
All right. And are you willing to give up that right and take the stand and testify under oath?
Yes, I am, Your Honor.
And you understand that once you testify, that you will be subject to a full, thorough, and sifting cross-examination consistent with Georgia law.
Yes, Your Honor.
Have you had sufficient time to discuss this with your attorney?
Yes, I have, Your Honor.
And is this your decision?
Yes, it is, Your Honor.
And it is your decision alone?
Yes, it is, Your Honor.
All right, thank you.
May I also put on the record that I did advise my client of his constitutional rights with regard to this, so we had a thorough consultation.
Is that correct, sir?
That is correct, Your Honor.
All right, very well.
Thank you.
Please be seated.
Doug saying, just so we put on the record, okay, and all future clients are aware, I told this idiot not to do this. I told him to shut up, and he decided to testify. But wait, what's even better is after this happens, I'm going to keep playing the video, because after this happens, the prosecutor says, just to be clear, there is no insanity issues here. This man is competent and fully aware of what's going on, and he still made this decision. So wait, let me play it.
Your Honor, in light of that, I advised the court yesterday that I might have some motions in limine with respect to Mr. Casotis' testimony. Your Honor, with respect to his competency, there have been no notices filed in any way, shape, or form concerning competency to stand trial or insanity. I have not heard counsel reference that at any point.
I don't see that as an issue in this case, but
I just trying to make sure that the defendant doesn't get up and then try to put his own competency into question upon his testimony.
That is not an issue in this case, Your Honor, and he will not be putting that into his testimony.
thank you, counsel.
It's so funny because Doug is clearly like, somebody do something. And
He about to set himself up.
the prosecutor's like, don't try to appeal later and say you ain't had no sense, because that's not what's happening here. You are clearly aware. So anyway, I want to play another clip, because the man apparently went years believing that this guy, Jim McIntyre is his name, this random man showed up at his house, said he was an FBI agent. And Doug said, while he's on the stand, Doug said, so random man shows up and says he's an FBI agent. What was your education level again?
That's what I'm saying. You a lawyer.
He's, yes, literally a lawyer.
How you don't ask questions?
He's like, my wife said she saw his badge the day before, so I had no reason to question it. So then he goes on to say that Jim McIntyre had given him a job and he wasn't getting paid. It was put in stocks, so he didn't have any money at all. And so Jim was putting them in different houses. And so he was moving around a lot, like literally sometimes it would be every 2 or 3 days. And then other times it would be for like 6 weeks, right? Him and his wife that he's on the run with trying not to pay. Also, Jim told him that he had $32 million.
Jim told
Nicholas.
Nicholas, that you have $32 million in stock. That's just,
I guess.
Is that what it is?
I guess. Doug said, why did you believe you? Because the way it happened was he said, I believed I had 32 million. Doug said, why did you believe you had 32 million? He said, Jim told me I did.
What?
That's what he said. So anyway, turns out a friend of his had actually been funding all the places he was staying.
Okay.
And the friend apparently tells Nick, and he's like, what? I thought Jim was paying this whole time. So they find out Jim hasn't been paying all these places they've been staying. Their friend has. So he finds out he's not a lawyer. I mean,
does
Jim,
anybody know where Jim is?
he just disappeared.
So Jim ain't even in the courtroom.
He gone. Well, wait. Let me play this clip of when he says he found out that Jim wasn't an FBI agent.
I'm gonna tell the IRS, hey, Jim
Bruh, I said,
told me.
it's Jim.
I was livid. It was at this time that we learned that Mr. McIntyre was not a federal agent.
How did you learn that?
I had a conversation with him as to why this was, why he was charging a friend of mine's card. Why wasn't there, either coming from our own money or some sort of official fund. Why this was happening. And I made some reference to wanting to speak to his superior, and he said, Nick, I'm not an FBI agent. Why would you think that?
Did you continue to maintain your relationship with him after you found out about this?
We did, after following, probably the worst argument that Mindy and I ever had.
What was that argument about?
He moved us in the days after that to a rental that we were not happy with. At this point, we were living with Mindy's father and mother, Betsy and Frank III, as well as Matthew, the youngest brother. He had moved us to a rental that we were not happy with, but for the first time, we actually had a rental agreement that showed how long the rental had been paid for. It was a different company than I think they were normally procured through. So for the first time, we knew that we had, I forget if it was a week or a week and a half, and I said, this is, we shouldn't be dealing with this anymore. Like we have a week or a week and a half. We've got to figure out a plan. We've got to, cut ties with Jim. Like I feel like I've been lied to for years.
But you didn't cut ties with Jim, correct?
We did not. No, Mindy felt that Jim was our, our angel. She said, he had made mistakes, but we would be in the position to fix all those mistakes. And if we stopped working together, then who knows, if his resolve to see this end in our favor was going to go away,
They sure he ain't crazy?
That's why the prosecutor said, just to be clear, we ain't had no conversations about competency and insanity. And then Doug said, that's not an issue in this case. He is fine. And I told his ass not to do this.
So how the federal agent, so-called federal agent, well, the wife said he's an agent. He showed me the badge.
That's according to Nick. The wife is now not alive, so we can't ask her what she told him.
But then Nick says that the federal agent says,
this is years later after he gets
why you
caught.
think I'm a federal agent?
Yeah. And then they just continued their relationship with him, even though he is now, according to Nick, admitted he's not a federal agent.
And how you got 32 million and this man is moving you around? And why is he moving you around just to avoid paying $1 million if you
got
have
32?
32 million?
That's a drop in the bucket. Send them people that lady her money and move on.
I'm interested now. I need to know
I had
what's
so
happening.
many questions, but him sitting on,
And he's a chatterbox.
Oh, he talks a lot.
Oh,
And he
my
keeps
goodness.
interrupting. Doug is like, hey, excuse me. Because he keeps talking over Doug. So Doug's like, don't do that. You get, in my opinion, okay? Doug looks very annoyed. He looks so pissed off.
He said, my client is going to, he was like,
It's like his face twitched. My
get on the
client
stand.
is going to testify, Your Honor. Please, I would love for you to inquire with him why he's making this dumbass decision,
Yes.
even though he's paying me a lot of money to tell him not to do this, and he is still choosing to do this. Please.
You sure
ask.
he's paying him?
Actually, I don't know.
He might
That was
be
fully an
paying him
assumption.
in stocks.
It may be Jim. Jim may be funding.
We need to bring Jim
is
to
funding
court.
Doug. Anyway, so if you feel like going down a rabbit hole, you can start with the testimony of him today. I haven't gotten to cross-examination. I hope it's a time. Because anytime a defendant gets on the stand, most times it's a time. So I'll be watching that probably today. I don't know if I'm going to recap it just because I'm still so confused.
Yeah, I'm trying to see.
I don't know
if
how.
he's making up Jim.
He's
making up Jim creates a story to where
he's trying to reasonable doubt.
Yes,
that's all. He's trying to get one.
That's what I'm
all
saying.
he needs is one juror to believe Jim exists.
Yes,
and that's why he is doing this. 100%.
That's what I'm trying to say.
He's probably in the back like, Doug, it's gonna work. Just Doug, it's going to work. Believe me. So anyway,
Jim McIntyre, that name alone is just so generic. Like, that's a TV show.
It's silly. It's absolutely. I mean, it's sad because obviously this woman was like dismembered, parts of her body found. That's not funny. This man seems unwell.
He's also, is he not locked up right now? He seemed like he lost a lot of weight.
It did seem like I don't know. I don't know the detail. I don't know if he is out on bail. I don't know. Anyway, moving on. There has also been an update in the YNW Melly case. You know YNW Melly.
So I didn't know he's been in jail since 2019.
Yes, sir. February. This is YNW Melly. It is Florida versus Jamel Dimmons. Jamel Dimmons, like lemons with a D. Don't be funny saying demons because they made very clear in the first trial that man's last name is Dimmons. So this is Jamel Dimmons, Florida versus, and he is going to be facing his second trial, a retrial, because the first one ended in a hung jury, resulting in a mistrial. He is charged with taking the life of two of his childhood friends, shooting them in the backseat of a vehicle after they left the studio, then staging a drive-by and acting like somebody else did it. He is, like Greg just said, has been locked up since February of 2019. He turned himself in. Mm-hmm. And since that first trial, the judge overseeing that case retired. The first prosecutor was recused. He has his lead attorney stopped being his lead attorney. So he has a new lead attorney, obviously a new judge, and new prosecutors. Mm-hmm. The thing that happened after that first trial, I've said this many times. So if it's your like, girl, we know it's for the sake of people who don't. Stay with me. After that first trial, his team filed a motion to ask that some of the phone evidence that was included in the first trial not be allowed to be included in the second trial. That's some of the Snapchat, some of the text messages, I think some of the like geographic location data, things like that, right? I think even some Instagram data. And basically, this is a quick synopsis. The first trial allowed, the prosecutors were able to have like Snapchat information for like 3 months prior to the actual incident. Mm-hmm. His defense team was like, hey, bruh, that's exhaustive. That's too much. That should be defined. That should be more limited. So they filed a motion to say, can you please limit what the prosecutor is able to use in the trial? Mm. The judge, the first judge before he retired, was like, actually, you have a good point. So some information will be limited. Some of this other information won't be. Mm. And so because he made that ruling, the prosecutors appealed that ruling. They appealed it to the, I think, like Florida's Supreme Court. Mm-hmm. And so they have been, and then his team also appealed because they were like, no, judge, more should be limited. So both sides appealed. It was cross appeal. They have been waiting for Florida Supreme Court to decide on that. In the meantime, he's been in jail, right? Mm-hmm. He's been in jail, like I said, since 19. We are now in 25. What is that, 7 years? He is in a jail, not in prison where he's going to serve his time. He is in a jail waiting for his trial, his second trial. What's going to happen to me? And he also, just FYI, if he is convicted, he could be sentenced. He could face the death penalty. It's a death penalty case. And so He has been waiting. This appeal hasn't been heard. It hasn't had oral arguments. The new judge comes on and he's like, hey, bruh, this man has been in jail for so long. He is going to have a trial date. And the judge has been like, my calendar is crazy. And so September 10th, 2025, Melly is having his trial. Come hell or high water, he's having his trial. Both sides, mainly the prosecutor, though, has been like, we're waiting on this appeal. We need to know what information we can use in the trial. And the judge is like, if you don't have the appeal before September 10th, we are going to go by the previous judge's order. What he said can be used, can be used. What he said can't be, can't be. That's what it's going to be.
Okay.
So the prosecutors file a motion for a stay. So they go up to the Supreme Court, Florida Supreme, and they say, hey, Supremes, we need you to put a hold on this case until y'all do the oral arguments.
So that's what a stay is.
A stay is stay.
Just
stay everything.
Okay.
Keep it. And so the judge has been like, that's the only way that I'm pausing this. Other than that, see you September 10th.
Yep.
About 3-4 days ago, the Supreme Court, Florida Supremes, said, stay granted. So now the stay is on and the trial has been paused. So September 10th is not happening. The problem, though, is that the judge has already told them that his calendar is booked for the rest of 25 and all of 26.
Sheesh.
So the earliest that the judge can take his case is January. I don't know if you can see it. January 6th of 2027. So if you see that number 1, it says the defendant's case is 2,373 days old as of this date. That's how long he's been locked up. This case is currently set for trial on January 6th, 2027. So Melly will be going to trial, but he's going to have to wait another, basically, I guess a year and a half before, and he's already been in there for 7 years.
Six years.
What did I say, 19? 6 years. 6 years. So honestly. Yeah. So by the time he actually goes to trial, it'll be from February 19th is when he turned himself in. February 2019, and 2027 January is when he's going to be.
I don't know how I feel about it because it wasn't my loved ones that
100%,
died.
yeah.
So obviously, if it was my brothers or my friends, I would want him to stay in there until the trial.
Yeah.
But also,
and his bond has been denied multiple times.
6 years already.
Yeah.
You know.
He's facing the death penalty, so.
Yeah.
If you're convicted, them 7 years, 6 years is you was gonna be waiting anyway.
I still won't. If it was my people, obviously, the other people wouldn't want them to get out. I wouldn't want you to enjoy yourself for this whole year.
Yeah.
Because that's what you're gonna do.
Well, and again, it's double homicide. This is double murder.
Yeah.
And after the first trial, he got witness tampering charges. What they filed on him after the first trial is you actually was tampering with witnesses from the first trial.
So, okay.
That was added on.
Didn't think about that.
And that's why his bond keeps being denied because it's like for the protection of the community.
Okay.
I can't let you out on top of you these charges that we have to prove, but on top of these charges, but for you to get witness tampering charges as well, that puts the community at risk. So the judge has been like, I can't risk letting you out because you gonna mess with people. And
you're a liability. So whether you're innocent or not, we think, or the assumption is, you're a murderer.
But the problem is, right, the legal system, you're supposed to be innocent until proven.
That's true. That's true too.
So there shouldn't be an assumption, but go ahead.
Okay. So let's say
the judge gets to consider
evidence
presented.
Let's say this. This is how I put it. If a male or female, if they're accused of sexual harassment,
okay,
right?
Okay.
And it comes out that they were found innocent of that.
Yeah.
Right? The company or the boss, man or lady, has a decision to make to keep them or not keep them, because they're a liability. Because if something happens later on down the line and that person does commit sexual assault, then it's like, hey, man, 10 years ago, somebody accused him of this and y'all didn't get rid of them. Why didn't you get rid of them then? Because they're a liability. Now, come to find out he's guilty of this. Like, you're a liability whether you're innocent or not, just because it's out there.
Because the claim, because
it's out there. So this is what's happening with him. So if he gets out and witnesses end up missing or something else, it's like, man, y'all knew good and well.
Well, it's just like the Aaron Spencer case, right? Like
he was doing it in jail.
Aaron Spencer, that guy had been accused and charged of sexually assaulting that Aaron Spencer's daughter.
Oh,
and
yes.
then he's let out on bond. And what happens? Aaron Spencer months later wakes up to his 13-year-old in homeboy's car.
Yeah.
And now homeboy then got killed and y'all mad at Aaron Spencer, but y'all ain't do what y'all supposed to do. And so here we are with this case, who is, again, presumed innocent. That is that's the system. But because of the charges, he is being held without bond, so he is locked up. My problem here's the problem, and I have this internal discussion a lot because I don't want to say a fan of, I do support innocent until proven guilty. And I do have issues with with people being held before something is proven. I do, right? However, I watched the first trial. It wouldn't have been hung for me.
No,
it wouldn't have been hung for me. Don't get me. I'm just saying I watched. And I'm waiting for the second one. But if I started at not guilty for Melly, they got me over the hump to guilty. That's personally. So I also am like, maybe he shouldn't be out. I'm just saying maybe he shouldn't be out. However, this man being held this long, in my opinion, is not because of the effects, because this happens to other people as well. That's why I have a problem with it.
The young man with the book bag.
Because of Khalif Browder. People like Khalif Browder, right? When people are held for this long before they even have the opportunity to go to trial, this man having to wait this long, I have a problem with that as well. Yeah. Like, that's not this is a problem.
Yeah.
He needs to be able to go to trial sooner than 9 years. Like, that's crazy.
They need to figure out.
And he waived his right to a speedy trial. A lot of comments about that. He waived his right because of this appeal. Because of that, he waived his right to a speedy trial. That does not apply here because he said, hey, I am saying we don't have to do this quickly. We can wait. I'm sure he didn't mean this long, though.
Yeah.
And that's unfair. It's even to that point, somebody in the comments is saying it's really not justice. It's really not even I'm sure they're happy he's locked up, but like, they want closure. They now have to wait another 1.5 years before they get closure on their loved one's case who was killed years ago. Like, that's also not fair. Like, this is broken. This is broken. There's no way they should be setting his trial date for 1.5 years later. That's great. Get another judge. What are we doing?
Well, yes, that there has to be another judge available.
Yeah.
For this in the whole entire state of Florida. You can't find some fly a judge in from somewhere.
That's why I don't know, because I'm not a lawyer. I'm imagining something's gonna happen, that he's going to have his trial before 2027. I'm imagining somebody gonna file something.
Put one of the other court cases you have on the back burner to put his.
But that impacts those people.
I know, but are all their cases murder cases that's been going on for 6 years? No. If it's been going on for 1 year, hey man.
But if your case comes up and we set the trial date based on it at that time, somebody else comes in and now we get to deprioritize you and what about those victims? What about those people? Like, that feels
6 years in jail versus 6 months in jail.
You can wait.
You can wait. You can wait. You're going to have to wait.
I think
also they got to figure out on these giving people bond. if it's a violent crime, then you might not get out on bond. But if it's for some speeding tickets, or if it's for burglary, or if it's something where no one passed away,
they're supposed to.
That's what I'm saying. They should let people out on bond. In his case, a
It just don't be fair.
double murder, yes, it's not. You can't, man. I wouldn't want him out, but also they could create. You know, the government love money. Create some more jails and facilities that are less likely for him to get in more trouble or get attacked. Something more cool and calm.
For who?
For
Melly?
people waiting for cases.
Oh, I'm like, what?
Yeah, people for people that are waiting for trial. They don't have to be in a jail where they could be killed or hurt waiting to go to trial. So that could happen too. I mean, they need to figure something out. You gonna let him out on bond?
Well, he's not out.
But what I'm saying is you're gonna either do that or not do it, or you're gonna what's his name, Browder? You're gonna let the Browders out on bond, and then they're gonna have an issue with not letting the Mellys out on bond.
Well, they have guidelines, right? It's one of the things that judges are supposed will consider is the risk to the community. If I let you out, are other people at risk? Another thing that's considered is flee. Are you going to run? Can I trust that you're going to show up? So there are guidelines, there are questions that are asked that judges evaluate in determining if a person will be released on bond. That is already in place. I think the problem is it's not one size fits all. It's never that way, right? It's hard to make rules to apply to everyone because circumstances and situations are different, and people want to plead their particular situation. I know that's the rule, but let me tell you why I should be the exception. Everybody is doing that. That's what lawyers are paid to do. Let me go, argue and plead and beg with this judge to let you out. And then you have somebody like the guy in Aaron Spencer who is successfully able to plead why he should be out, and then he does what he does, right? And then so I think my issue is my issue with this particular situation for Melly is that it has happened to other people and can happen to other people, and that has to be fixed. The fact that a judge, it's almost like you trying to set an appointment with a doctor right now. Doctors be like, see you in 2027. That's a problem. It's also a problem for the judicial system. There is no way that somebody shouldn't be able to have their trial. They have to wait 1.5 years, and he's already been in there for 6 years. That's just insane. So anyway, that's what's going on with that case. It was one I had scheduled, one I was planning to cover, and I won't be in September because it won't be happening in September. So that's that. I'll move on to the next agenda item. Oh, wait, before I do, I think we had... Wait, before I move on.
Objection.
Yes, we started a new little dial-in situation for the podcast where our listeners can have an objection. So if you're in the Patreon, I am posting what the topics will be that we'll be talking about on the podcast. And if you have an objection, you can call in and leave your objection. So our first dial-in, thank you for leaving one. The first objection is about the YNW Melly case. So let's listen to it.
Honorable, I'm not a lawyer, but it's your girl Lo, and I have an objection. When it comes to this whole YN Melly case and even what we're seeing back in Boston post Karen Reed, I really need these prosecutorial officers to stop violating the rights of people because they're making me want to let these YNs back on the street. Now I get it. I know you are innocent until proven guilty, but in order for the process to work, they gotta start turning over evidence, being more transparent, and really not putting these people in a predicament where these judges is just letting whatever carry on. Like,
okay, hold on.
So it's playing from here. Just want to see.
Okay, hold on, y'all.
Honorable, I'm not a lawyer,
Tell us
but
if you can hear it
it's
now.
your girl Lo, and I have an objection. When it comes to this whole YN Melly case and even what we're seeing back in Boston post Karen Reed. I really need these.
Are you able to play it from your computer?
Oh, wait, I think they heard it that time.
Oh, they did. Okay.
Yes, they heard. Okay.
I'm not a lawyer, but
Okay.
We'll start it again.
Honorable, I'm not a lawyer, but it's your girl Lo, and I have an objection. When it comes to this whole YN Melly case and even what we're seeing back in Boston post Karen Reed, I really need these prosecutorial officers to stop violating the rights of people because they're making me want to let these YNs back on the street. Now I get it. I know you are innocent until proven guilty, but in order for the process to work, they gotta start turning over evidence, being more transparent, and really not putting these people in a predicament where these judges is just letting whatever carry on. Like, and for the judges, if the prosecution offices, the Commonwealth, and all of them ain't gonna do the right thing, start handing out these fines, start ripping this stuff back in. There's no repercussions for it. And now I'm seeing her like, let Melly free. He's just gonna pew pew again and again and again. And every other person who should have repercussions for their actions are gonna end up being back on the streets because they just won't carry on the system with integrity. And so, yes, throw it out. I got an objection. Start sending them fines. Start wrapping this party up. Start making it so that they gotta go before their governing bodies and say, listen, somebody's bar card need to get snapped. Okay?
Man, I agree.
Yeah.
That there's no reason why his court case should be in 2027. They should have been hitting whoever and however the fines work. They should have, if there are fines, they need to create some so they'll know, hey man, if we don't do this in time, this is at jeopardy.
Yeah.
You know?
And I mean, to that point, one of the things that watching all these trials does do is make you aware of the misconduct that happens a lot by the prosecutors. And I even started this segment talking about the fact that the lead prosecutor from the first trial was recused. She was removed. The judge removed her from the trial because of her misconduct in the investigation and during the trial. And so, I mean, Lo raises a good point. These prosecutors, something should happen. And what happened in this case? She was recused and some new ones came on, and there's been some questionable activity from these prosecutors as well. The judge has called them to the carpet a few times. He has had some questions about what they got going on a few times. So I think, I mean, you raise a good point. And again, it sets precedent, right? Like this happens this time. It has happened to other people who don't have the publicity, who don't have the money, the funds, the attorneys, who don't have all of that. And they just slip through the cracks. You know, Melly is not the first person this has happened to. He's just somebody with some notoriety. So we talk about it. So I think it raises a good point, and it does make you say they might be guilty, but maybe they should be out. You know, if this is what y'all got going on, maybe they should be out. So
yeah, so you can learn your lesson.
Yeah,
and move on.
So thank you for our very first objection. Lo. Appreciate it. So we'll be doing those more, and we have another one. But before we get to it, I want to talk about Shanquella Robinson. I made a video, I think about a week ago on Shanquella Robinson, who was a 25-year-old woman from North Carolina. A lot of people are familiar with this case. It was back in 2022. She went on a trip with who she thought was her friends to Mexico. And I mean, within 24 hours of landing, Shanquella got into a fight. I don't even know if you want to call it a fight because she was attacked. She didn't put up a fight. She didn't fight back by one of the other people who was on the trip. Her name is Dejanay Jackson, but she's since changed her name to Imani Green. So Dejanay/Imani attacked her, and Shanquella ends up dying within hours. She ends up dying. So the group of friends, after Shanquella dies in Mexico, the group of friends pack up her belongings. They fly back the next morning to the U.S. a full day earlier than they were planning to. Imani and the guy who actually invited Shanquella on the trip, they go to Shanquella's home, drop off her suitcase, say sorry to her mother, sorry she died from alcohol poisoning. And that's it for a while. And then a video goes viral of Shanquella being attacked in this hotel room. And so it gets a lot of media attention. Mexico has charged Imani Green / Dejanay Jackson with femicide, with murder, basically. And put in a request for the U.S. to extradite Imani Green back to Mexico so she can have a trial and they can do what they do. The U.S. has opted not to extradite her. They've also opted not to charge her in the U.S. They did an investigation and they said, there's not enough here. We're not going to charge her. And so the Cabo Six, which is the group of people, that's what they're called, have been back in the U.S. minding their business, living their life. And after that was decided, Shanquella's mother filed a lawsuit last year, at the end of last year, filed a lawsuit against the Cabo Six. And the charges, obviously, against Imani Green is for wrongful death. There's also some negligence claims, I should say, not charges, they're claims in a civil suit. So she is claiming that there was some negligence. She also filed suit against the FBI, as well as the Department of State. Anyway, what has happened is that the Cabo Six have filed to have the lawsuit dismissed. A lot of the reason that they say the lawsuit should be dismissed is they say the U.S. is not the appropriate location for this lawsuit. All of this stuff happened in Mexico, and all of the people who would be called to testify are in Mexico, meaning the doctors, the hotel staff, the ambulance, the law enforcement, they all live in Mexico. So their argument is that U.S. is not the appropriate place for this lawsuit, and so it should be dismissed on those grounds. And then Imani Green, in her motion to dismiss, she also says that Shanquella provoked the fight. She says that Shanquella didn't inform anyone that she had any kind of like medical conditions. And she also says that this is Imani talking, if I engaged in an altercation, I was only engaged as self-defense. I was only defending myself. So a judge has not ruled yet on the dismissal motions, but that is what has happened. I am so curious what's going to happen, because I understand the Mexico is the appropriate place, the jurisdiction issue. I get that. However, these are U.S. citizens, and what's the problem? Why can't it be filed in both places? Because otherwise, these people just get to live their life.
Crazy, and it's on tape. So there's no it's on tape. So I just Googled it. It says the U.S. does not refuse extradite to Mexico in all cases. While there are some specific situations where extradition may be denied, the two countries have an extradition treaty and regularly exchanges fugitives.
Yes.
So I'm thinking there's some type of political situation. They're like, hey,
no, we have a treaty with them. We do this.
We do this.
We do this.
So
with Mexico.
This is a layup. Hey, man, we got the video. She did this. She died. Prosecute her. Now, I can see the U.S. saying, no, we ain't going to send her to Mexico because they might do something else to her. But I'm going to punish you here. They
chose not to. They
said, you murdered a citizen of the U.S.
And yes.
That is absolutely absurd. We should find somebody that could answer.
There go Grego.
That.
Gonna be calling his senator.
I am. I'm calling somebody.
Calling somebody in North Carolina.
Y'all go on a trip somewhere.
Yeah.
And your friend or somebody gets hurt, gets killed, and there's no doubt about it. It's on tape. There should be obvious justice. You shouldn't be able to, man, it should be something. Pay a fine, something, do some volunteer work somewhere, something.
Shanquella's mom,
probation.
In her lawsuit, she puts in there that what she actually says is that the extradition request came in and the State Department chose not to forward it to the appropriate people. That's what she's saying in her lawsuit is what happened. It's not that they denied it. They just did not forward it, which in essence is a denial. And the reason the claims against the FBI and the State Department were dropped, so the claims against them have been dismissed. The judge was like, you can't really sue them. And there's a few reasons. Number one, it's really hard to sue the government in general, right? Like they have a lot of immunity. But one of the things that, if you were to sue them, right, you can't sue them for anything they have discretion over. And so if they choose to do an investigation and choose not to prosecute Imani Green in the U.S., that is their choice, and they have the option to do that. And so you as a citizen cannot sue them off of something they had a right or a choice to do or not do. So that's one of the reasons that the claims against them were dismissed. The other reason, another reason that the claims against the government were dismissed has to do with something called private party analog. And in essence, you can't sue the government for something you also cannot sue a regular person for, is how it breaks down. And so what the government said in their response to the lawsuit was, because there is not a regular person that you could sue for not forwarding an extradition request, right? There's not a regular person you can sue for that. So that means you also can't sue the government for it, because you can't sue a regular person for it. And the problem, as I was reading this, I was like, but hold on. Regular people don't engage in international affairs. Like, there is regular people. Joe Blow doesn't have the ability to be like, yo, send me your extradition request. I got it. I'm going to go take it to Mexico. They don't exist. And so it's unfair to be like, well, since you can't sue a regular person, you can't sue us. But it's like, yeah, because as the government, you have the authority and the ability to handle international affairs. Like, this is stupid. This is a lose-lose. Like, that's unfair. But for those reasons and some other ones, the claims against the government were dropped. It also reminded me, let me just say, I used to do a podcast called Underreported, which people still ask me about all the time. And Underreported was, the point of it, the passion, the reason I wanted to do it was to bring light to cases of Black and brown women, because they are underreported in the media, right? There is literally something, I forgot what it's called, white woman, sorry, give me a second. Missing white women syndrome, right? And it's it highlights, that term highlights the tendency for media to prioritize and amplify coverage surrounding white women, right? That is what it is. And so as a result of that, I had inspiration and passion to do Underreported, right? It's literally to highlight the underreported cases. And to be clear, the Shanquilla case got a ton of media coverage. Let's be clear. This case is covered by the media, thankfully. However, when you think about cases like Natalie Holloway, who went missing in Aruba, and the government show had a lot of resources for that. Government show was partnering with Aruba for that. They was out here like, send the troops, help them people find her. They were all in. And so it is very confusing, right? And maybe there's a reason. All I'm saying is I'd love to know it. Because why was there so much dedication and resources and support for Natalie Holloway, and we're left with so much confusion on a case like Shanquilla Robinson, when there is a video of this woman being attacked naked? She's new, and one of the guys in the video is literally saying, do something, Quilla, fight back, because she's not. She's being attacked. And so the fact that that exists, we know their names, we have so much information, and to be clear, the doctor who actually came to the villa to try and save Shanquilla's life made a report. I read the report, and I mean, no less than 4 times did this doctor say, Shanquilla needs to go to the hospital. And the friends are like, she has alcohol poisoning. Give her an IV. And the doctor's like, I'll give her the IV, but we really should take her to the hospital. And they're like, we want her to be seen right here. Don't take her to the hospital. The doctor's like, honestly, you guys, I'm very concerned. They're like, we ain't got money for no hospital bill. The doctor's like, there's free hospitals here. There's free ones. Maybe you can call her mom and see if she has insurance. Something. And they're like, no. They keep telling this doctor to give her an IV. The doctor finally gives her an IV. She has a seizure. And shortly after, has no pulse. I said, now wait a minute. How come the U.S. can read that report the same way I did? And everybody walks away with no charges.
Yeah.
I have questions. That's very confusing to me. I don't understand how we arrive here. And then, okay, let's not get into the cause of death. I'm going to pull it up. I want you to see. Okay, conclusions. We can say, based on the aforesaid and the findings, that the cause of death for Shanquilla Robinson was the atlas and medullary dislocation. I'm not a lawyer. I'm also not a doctor. I don't know a lot of words. But what I read is that basically has to do with your spine, your neck and your spine. So if she died not from alcohol poisoning, but from something spine related, and we have videos of her being attacked, you don't think that that's enough? We've seen people get prosecuted for way less. And then it says type of manner of death, violent. Okay. Signs of survival. How come I have questions? I just have questions. So
this
anyway.
is as confusing as
It's very confusing
as the Nicholas case.
Well, in a different way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, you think people in general will have just good moral sense, and there will be some type of integrity when it comes to just a person's life. And literally the government is like, so what?
I'm so confused. I really would love...
With no explanation.
Yeah.
Like, hey, man.
I would love to understand why. What's your reasoning? Even though it may be stupid, right? I may not agree, but I just want to... I would love to hear, at least, what's the reason? What's the reason?
Yeah.
You know?
Words of wisdom from me. This, man, do not hang with people that you don't genuinely know and like. And we all know. Well, no. You can hang with them, but you're not going on no trips.
Oh yeah, that's
with somebody. Don't go out of the country. Don't drive hours to go see nobody that you just met. Be safe.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, because this girl traveled all the way to Mexico
on a last-minute invite.
And
so a lot of
they
people
planned.
That's what a lot of people have questions
beat
about.
her up.
A lot of people are like, was it planned? Because it was last minute. There's this group of people. Like, what was it planned? Was it jealousy? Was it, again, I don't usually like to talk about stuff that's not in legal documents, but that is a lot of the narrative around this story, because a lot of people are like, why did the fight even happen? What would cause you to attack this girl so quickly after you've arrived in Mexico? What would cause you to do that? Like, what, not that there's ever going to be something that's going to be reason enough to be like, oh, I get it, right? Because it's not going to happen. But you just have questions. There's so many questions about this case. It's so bizarre and sad. This girl was 25 years old. This is sad. And her mom just gets to see her daughter off on a trip and is returned with a suitcase of hers. And the first thing you're told is alcohol poisoning. And then you're like, oh, wait, her neck, her spine. What?
The guy filming should get the same sentence as the girl beating her up. Whoever was there watching it, all of them should get the same sentence. That's it.
Sad.
That's it. And I have no, man, this is where you need vigilante justice. This is outright just.
Yeah, it's sad. And it when you get no justice from the justice system and you get no answers, this is what causes people to spiral, to start doing questionable things, because it's like, if y'all ain't gonna help me, and I've tried and I've gone through all my avenues, I've done what I'm supposed to do, and y'all ain't coming through, okay, so now I gotta go take stuff into my own hand. This is what, not that I'm suggesting that, but this, I see how people get there, because this mom is like, do something, and now we'll see if it actually gets moved out of the U.S. If they dismiss her claim, saying that actually Mexico is the appropriate place, I don't know what you leave mama's hands tied. So anyway.
This is why I'm going to be traveling with my daughters wherever they go.
Forever.
With or without them knowing. They will know I'm going to be there. You're not doing, I'm going to be there. I'm going to be on the plane, hat on.
Oh, I have a objection. We have an objection for this case, so let's listen to that.
Oh.
Hello, Mel. Hello, everyone. I have an objection/question on the Shanquella Robinson case. I'm so glad you started this feature, because this has been bothering me since the case began. When it started, everyone found out that she had passed away. There were all these videos on social media, and I saw quite a few of them, but I was always curious as to what other people saw before they took all these videos down. So is there a way that we could kind of talk about what did you see in the videos, people in the Patreon and participants? Because I saw the fight. I didn't see what led up to the fight. I didn't see them wake her up out of the bed. Someone said they saw her they saw them wake her up and then start fighting her. That was crazy. I saw all these videos of them like walking to and from the rooms. They were partying and stuff. So I just am curious if anyone really saw anything significant in these videos that have now been taken down. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks for sending your objection in. I intentionally avoided watching a lot of the videos that were going around for this case. I saw the only video I've ever seen of this is very short, and it is the beginning of, they're like standing almost like facing off, and then she just starts hitting her. Shanquella is eventually on the ground, and she hits her. At one point, she kicks her. You hear the guy in the background saying, fight back, Quilla. Do something. And that's about where it ends for me that I've seen. I don't know if you ever seen any more.
This was a while ago, though. They showed a video of her in the bed, and they
waking her up?
Trying to wake her up.
Okay.
And that's about it.
Yeah, I haven't.
But the other, on top of what you've seen, yeah.
I've never seen the waking up portion, but I've heard different parts about it. But I've never watched it, so I'm curious if anybody saw more to it. Obviously, leave a comment. But I didn't, and I intentionally avoid stuff.
But
like
to
that.
be clear,
it's so traumatizing.
It is. It's sad to watch. If you haven't seen the video, this girl is clearly beating her up.
She's not fighting. I mean, he literally says fight back.
Yeah, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about what's happening. Yeah. This girl beat her up. And for her autopsy to come back the way it came back, it was from her beating her up.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Okay, so that is the Shanquella Robinson case. The next and final one I want to talk about is Uncle Nearest. I made a video, which is actually getting some traction. I woke up to the comedian Lonnie Love reposting it and saying good breakdown, which I was like, well, thank you. But Uncle Nearest is a whiskey brand that was founded in 2017, and it has gotten really popular.
Black owned,
Black woman owned. It was founded by a woman named Fawn Weaver and her husband Keith Weaver. They are the founders. It's named after the man who apparently taught Jack Daniels how to make whiskey.
Yep.
And so his name was Nathan Green Nearest, and so Uncle Nearest, and they are being sued. They were recently supposed to be the valuation for the company was like $1 billion. I think it was like insane. They have been massively successful. A lot of people like it. But they are being sued by a lending company. The lending company says that Uncle Nearest owes them $108 million. Man, 108. I didn't even know they was out here making loans for that. Cause what? Anyway, $108 million. They have defaulted. They have not been making payments on the loans. And Uncle Nearest, they responded like, yes, we owe y'all that money. We know that. We the ones who told you. However,
and you all are aware of it. Yeah, they are aware.
Bad chief financial officer. We told y'all that he was making stuff up. And so we tried to make a payment plan with y'all. We got a third party firm, and the third party firm that y'all approved and y'all were aware of told us to stop making payments. That's the only reason why we stopped, is because they told us to. And now here y'all are trying to sue us. That's like very, very brief. There is way more to it. Watch my video if you want the full recap. But they are being sued. I saw a lot of comments about people saying that the bank, basically, they're trying to kick her out. They're trying to not have this successful company owned by a Black woman. When you look at the top 10 companies for whiskey, the top 10 whiskey companies, they're all white men,
of course,
which is obviously very common in the alcohol industry in general. So for it to be owned by a Black woman is like massive. But there's a lot of, issues in this case. One thing, though, I want to highlight, one of the claims that the lending company has is they loaned Uncle Nearest like $20 million. And the $2 million of that 20 was supposed to be spent on Uncle Nearest purchasing a house in Martha's Vineyard, a property. Okay. What they're claiming is Uncle Nearest took $2 million and then created a new LLC to purchase the house. And then they also mortgaged the property through another company. So not Farm Credit America, which is the company who gave them the $2 million. Uncle Nearest took that $2 million, created a different company. They bought this house with a brand new bank. I just want to say that having properties in different LLCs is actually really common. So I understand what they're saying, that it was a violation of their agreement. They had no idea they were going to do this. But for me, I'm not a banker or a lawyer or anybody else. But for me, it actually is surprising that isn't something that would be known, only because any financial advisor would tell you, don't put your Uncle Nearest $1 billion evaluated liquor company with the same name, under the same name as the house you're buying. And that is for like liability reasons. In the event somebody is at the property and slips and falls, they would be able to sue you and everything you own, including the liquor company. If they are separate companies, whoever slips and falls can only sue the money the company that owns the house has. You guys, I don't have much money. I have been told that. That's not uncommon.
It's not.
So it would be surprising that a lending company who loans hundreds of millions of dollars to people would be so surprised that they did this.
But Uncle Nearest, they're saying that they were aware.
Yes.
They were fully aware of that. And that's why I agree that they see that this company is growing and is owned by a Black woman. And they're like, let's lend them as much money as possible So when it happens and they default on something, we can scoop this business right up under her feet. I believe Uncle Nearest until something else comes up, but I believe because they paid $7 million last year.
They paid $7.5 million last year, and they paid $9 million. No, they paid $7.5 million so far this year. They paid $9 million last year. So, however, they just had a hearing, and they were supposed to pay $10 million, and they were like, "We can't pay that though."
But that's business. You know what I'm saying? That's business. They all taking risk. It's business, man. What are you talking about? Now they didn't go purchase homes for their families and friends.
No. It was a property that has already been used. They just had the brunch a week ago. They have a gospel brunch. People took pictures there. They just had an event at the property. They have been using the money for what it was supposed to be used for. It's not like being shady. Yeah. The only problem is they had this chief financial officer who apparently, this is the other thing, the lending company is like, y'all told us that y'all had 77,000 barrels of whiskey in inventory. So they were willing to loan these millions of dollars because the barrels of whiskey was collateral. In the event you can't pay us back, I'm finna go get your barrels of whiskey. I'm gonna flip those and get some of my money back. So now that they've defaulted, the lending company sends somebody to go do an audit. And the auditor comes back to the lending company like, they ain't got 77,000. They lied to y'all. There's not 77,000. Oh. So the lending company is like, y'all told us y'all had more barrels than you had, and you also have been selling apparently some of the barrels, and we had no idea. So we have less collateral than we thought, and y'all never told us. And Uncle Nearest is like, the CFO told y'all. We didn't have nothing to do with that. He ain't tell us. And y'all dumbasses should have come check when you signed the paper. Why would you lend us the money and never even verify what he's telling you?
That's exactly what I was about to say.
I said, that's a good point.
That's your fault. When you buy a business, they say, hey, this is
$100 million and you ain't verifying.
Annual income. You have to look at the business before you buy the business. You look at the books to see what they bring in every year, and you have to verify that. If you tell me you got 10 barrels in the, hey man, show me the 10 barrels and open them. So I can make sure they're full.
Let me taste it to make sure it ain't vodka in here.
Might be piss in this barrel.
Nearest.
Yeah. So they screwed up on that.
That's what she said too.
Yeah,
said,
that's y'all fault, man.
Y'all should have checked this, and you didn't.
You gonna be making payments until the end of time on that money.
Make payments. Your money's coming, just not all together.
What needs to happen? Uncle Nearest, she probably done made a video already.
She made a video and they put a gag order.
Oh, okay.
The owner.
But we need to put that out.
And the judge is like, hey,
I need to make a video. Everybody stop purchasing all liquor but Uncle Nearest so they can pay their money back.
I'm about to go
I'm talking about
just off GP support.
Don't purchase no more liquor. Let's make a day out of it, a month. Just Uncle Nearest. Just purchase Uncle Nearest.
I'm really sad. I'm really sad that they worried about this woman-owned company that's had massive success and been able to reach this valuation and been able to really take over, right? That is not something that you see. And so for them to be in this situation, and of course there's a lot of conversations about it, and it's a lot of, stereotyping, and of course, and to be fair, this is not the first time a company has been in this situation, okay? And so because it is a Black woman company, it's a lot of, additional conversation around it, and that is what sucks to me. I would love to see the company win, continue to be Black owned, continue to be successful, just because it's something that hasn't existed. This is the first one in this space, and it's I really want to support, and they want a receiver. The lender is asking for a receiver, which is basically put somebody else at the helm of this business to see if the business can be turned around and if we can get our money back. And if a receiver is put in place, it's not her company no more. We'll see what the judge rules. Like I said, the judge hasn't made a decision on the receiver part. That is what the open item is they want a receiver at the helm of this company. And The Uncle Near's people are saying no, please. So that is the open item. I'll be monitoring just to see what the judge decides. But so far, he's only said, I think it was a male judge. He's only said, gag order, everybody shut up. So I think that's it. Those were the things I wanted to discuss today. We got through 1, 2, 3, 4. We got through 4 things today.
4 things.
Thank you for watching, for tuning in. We'll be back next week. We'll see what we talk about. Oh, next week, the trial for the Fulio, the first defendant who is being tried for killing Fulio. It's a female. Her trial starts jury selection starts on the 18th. So that's one I plan to cover and obviously probably talk about on this podcast. So just FYI, that one's coming. I think that's it.
That is it.
Go to I'mNotLawyerBut.com to support. If you're also go to the Patreon and also leave your objections. If you're in the Patreon, you'll know what to leave them about. All right. That's all. Thanks.
Also, this weekend party with Uncle Nears.
Get some Uncle Nears. I plan to.
Court is adjourned.
Because I'm sad.